Hello everyone, my name is Isabel Stolz. I'm a researcher at the Research Institute for Inclusion Through Physical Activity and Sport and a lecturer at the German Sport University in Cologne. I'm happy to present you today our validation of an ICF-based assessment tool for equine-assisted therapy. I'm going to start with our German trial we did in the past years, and afterwards I'm going to show you what we are planning for the Spanish trial in fall-winter this year, and also what we did already in the validation process. I will start with the background of the studies and then walk my way through the digital assessment. I'm going to show you our digital assessment we already developed as an app, and afterwards I'm going to show you the scientific background and perspectives for the future. So the background of the study was that we have in Germany a long tradition and a broad public acceptance of equine-assisted therapy, but also the current study situation includes rather small sample sizes, short treatment periods, and non-comparable study results. And synchronization possibilities with health and rehabilitation systems is currently not possible, and at least in Germany currently not possible. Therefore, there's no coverage of medical costs in the German health system. So the perspective for the study was to have a systematization of the assessment of therapy-related effect factors based on the international classification of the World Health Organization. Why the ICF? We chose the ICF because it's an international standardized language to describe functioning in patients in different rehabilitation settings. It's used in different countries. There are a lot of ICF-based assessment tools that have been implemented widely in international health and rehabilitation sectors, since the ICF has been defined as a standard to assess persons' functional health status. So the objective of the study was to develop a practicable and valid tool in the common international language of the World Health Organization to adequately record therapeutic effects and document the course of therapies in different forms of equine-assisted therapy. So we developed 4 modules, 1 general module for all forms of therapy and 3 sub-modules. 1 is for single therapy, 1 is for group therapy, and also 1 is for hippotherapy, the horse-assisted physiotherapy. On this slide, I want to show you the utilization of our Equitedo app. Equitedo is short and stands for Equitherapy Documentation. And at first, in the first picture here, we have a child which is sitting on the horseback and putting some show cards on a pad on the horseback. The therapist observes this situation. It's a fine movement task the kid is performing, and afterwards classifies this information on a 10-step Likert scale in the documentation tool. In this case, it's item 28. The person or the kid can perform a fine movement task adequately. Afterwards, this concrete item can be selected in the ICF illustration library or the ICF classification library. It's in this case backlinkable to the concrete ICF code D440 fine hand use. On this slide, I want to show you the Equitedo app, and I want to give you a short walkthrough through the different functions of the app. On the first slide, we see the login function. Here you can put in your email address and your password, and then you see the therapist dashboard. And here you can put in your clients, your documentations, and also your appointments. You can see your different therapies you already documented, and also your clients. This is the client spreadsheet where you see one specific client, and you see the scores they made in the therapy progress. You can also put some text in and define the disability status. Also, you see what type of submodules you documented already, and you can put in some final comments, for example, for communication with medical staff, with the treating doctors, or other therapeutic professionals that are involved in the rehabilitation process of the client. You can automatically get this export function, can automatically generate a therapy report for each client, which one you can also send to funders, send to treating medicals, and also parents or the clients themselves. You can put in single clients, but also you can put in groups if you are doing group therapy. Here you can put in the certain group informations and save them, and then you see your conducted and documented therapies. I can open here the last client I documented, which is here with his client spreadsheet, and also here with the documented therapies. When I want to do a new documentation, I can choose the model I want to document, I can choose the date, and also additional information, for example, about contents or about specifics about the horse and gaits we use in therapy. And then I can make my assessment on a 10-point Likert scale. I said this before, and can assess the functioning status of the person I had in therapy, and can see what functioning status they had in regard to motor competencies, psychosocial competencies, and also mental capacities. Here we see the last documentation. We see the sum scores and the different scales of the module. Yes, also we can generate a result, which is not only from this one documentation time point, but also different documentation time points or phases, like first therapy phase and the whole therapy phase when the therapy is finished in the end. I can also write a comment if the therapy should be proceeded further, or if the therapy is finished already. Here I can see the graphic figure of my therapy progress in the course of time. And also I see the therapy progress for every documented item. Furthermore, I can generate with the Equitedo app invoices. I can also put in my conducted therapies with prices and send them to clients or insurance companies or whoever is funding the therapy. And also here I have different fields that I can fill in with my personal information, with the time phases the therapy was conducted, and also what other aspects are relevant in therapy. I also can put in my logo and also my contact information. I can put in my address and a personalized text to the invoice. And also we have a test manual where the ICF is explained and also the usage of the tool. This manual is free, integrated in the app. And what you see here is also a calendar function, so you can put in all your appointments, all your therapies, and can see what weekly schedule you have with your clients. This is the dashboard function again, And here you can see, or you can get an overview on what therapies you did or have to do in the next weeks, what assessments and evaluations you already did, and how many clients you have. So the evaluation function is basically the core function of the Equitedo tool. The most important part is that you can automatically generate mean values and sum scores that can be mapped, can be stored, and also statistically evaluated, and therefore the course of therapy can be tracked very precisely. The evaluation function makes it considerably easier, as all documented therapy progressions can be evaluated automatically with just one click. These reports can also be passed to clients, cost units, schools in the case of documented children and adolescents, and also doctors or health insurance companies. The results provide strong support for a targeted and economic assessment of equine-assisted therapy via the scale structure we just saw in the walkthrough. We have one basic module and the 3 subscales, so every therapist can choose what scales are mostly applicable on their conducted therapies. Also, all modules are characterized by a high degree of reliability in the subscales and also in the global scale, so the global evaluation of each module. Every item can be linked back and related to the international health-related domains of the World Health Organization. And also for everything that cannot be put in numbers or scales, there is a function that also texts can be formulated and individual aspects of therapies can be recorded holistically, so that every therapist can also put in some qualitative information they observed in therapy, which is not classified via a scale structure. So as a little summary of the core functions, firstly, you can organize your clients. You can also put in group members and generate reports for every client on their own. You can send reports to physicians, can have a specific form for a reporting to physicians to generate the medical relevant informations additionally to the overall informations. Also, you can organize your appointments with clients, and you can write invoices and can print them, can save them and send them to funders. Okay, now I'm coming to our German scientific study, and Equitedo is the result of an extensive and scientifically high quality mixed methods research process which was conducted over the past years. The study duration was nearly 2.5 years. We had 2 years and 4 months, and in the first phase of the scientific study we conducted qualitative focus group interviews with professionals of different disciplines of equine-assisted therapy, and afterwards we summarized and classified the qualitative informations to the concrete ICF classification system and developed a pilot assessment tool which was field tested in the beginning of 2021. On the last Ainise Congress, I presented the results of our first practical study phase, and now I can present the second study phase. We had in the past year a big multi-center assessment study with 30 participating therapists who conducted in total 876 assessments of 265 clients. Afterwards, the developed assessment tool was analyzed according to scientific guidelines and criteria, and afterwards the tool was digitally generated in the way we can use now as a digital assessment app. The construction was the early process of the instrument. I don't want to go too deep in this phase of the study because I want to make today's focus on the Spanish trial, but the whole instrument was tested according to psychometric criteria, and coming to the Spanish trial of this study, we had the German language tool subsequently translated to the Spanish language by 2 independent translators according to the trapped methodology. The trapped methodology is a procedure which was originally developed by Janet Harkness in 2003, and it's described, for example, by Bear, Brown and Dora in the GESE survey guidelines for measurement instruments in international studies, with different steps. Trapped is an acronym which is standing for every step in this procedure. The T stands for translation. It's the first step where 2 independent translators translate the German language tool. They are both native speakers in English language and also fluent in the German language. Afterwards, the R stands for review. It's a subsequent meeting where the 2 independent translators are discussing the terminology and the translated test items, and if possible try to work a solution out for every questionnaire item. This process aims to find consensus. So when consensus is found, we have one version that is a nearly final version of the Spanish language tool, which goes in the next phase, in phase A, for adjudication, where open questions and ambiguities are discussed with a professional, with a reviewer that is professional in the field of equine-assisted therapy, and also can discuss if the survey methodology is adequate for the Spanish language practical field that should use the documentation form in the therapeutic practice. The translations should be understood in the intended manner and subsequently finalized to generate a Spanish version of this tool, and also in the pretest, where the P stands for the target population should understand what is meant by each test item in the final language, in the Spanish language. Also, both independent translators linked the Spanish version of the concrete test items back to the Spanish version of the ICF. So we have a German version where every item can be backlinked to a concrete ICF code, and also the 2 independent translators translated each test item back to the Spanish version of the ICF, and made also consensus of the backlinking to the concrete ICF code. So in the final step D, which means documenting, the entire process was documented. The final translations with the final backlinking to the concrete ICF codes is ready for the practical usage in the field. And this is also our next step. The assessment tool is to be tried in the Spanish-speaking practice. It will be subsequently examined and analyzed in terms of its psychometric properties. So we need and want to ask everybody who is maybe interested here today to participate in our Spanish trial. We need study facilities in Spanish-speaking countries who want to participate in the validation process and want to try the digital assessment tool in the Spanish language, maybe we can talk after this session and can be discuss how a participation can be possible, but it would be necessary that everybody, every professional therapist who wants to participate would need to assess each of their clients once for the validation process. Coming to the publications, I said before that I don't want to get too deep into the scientific aspects of our publications. Everybody who is interested in the statistical analysis and the psychometric testing can read our publications. The last two publications, the last one, Stolz, Anneken, Froböse, Measuring Equine-Assisted Therapy, Validation and Confirmatory Factor Analysis, is an open access publication which can be found in the internet everywhere and for free. So if you are interested in this scientific background, please get this publication, and there you find everything which question you might have now could arise. You can find your answers probably. Coming to the perspectives, we have the Equitedo app is available online at www.equitedo.com. Everybody who is interested in the app, visit our homepage, and there you can see everything that is going on around the app. We have workshops, we have contact informations, we have events. So if you want to get in touch, just look at our homepage, and also if you want to get in touch in terms of study participation, we are happy to make contact with you and to see how we can do this international Spanish-speaking validation study done in the next month. The translation process started already in September 2021. We're also are doing the English language validation right now. We're not that far in the English validation process as we are in the Spanish language validation, but we are looking forward, and we are motivated to get the English language tool ready in spring as well. The progress documentation manual is free of charge when the app is downloaded online. And also, yes, if you have questions, if you want to take part in a workshop, you can find every date on our homepage. All right, so if you have any questions, feel free to get in touch with us. You can use the chat function here, or you can write us at equitedo.com. We are happy to get in touch with you. We are happy to answer questions about the Spanish language tool, and also we would very much like to get in touch with you to do the Spanish validation study together. We also have a 6-week period free trial of the app right now for everybody who just wants to get a sneak peek in the Spanish app and don't want to participate in our study. But also we would like to get your feedback and get in touch with everybody. Thank you for your attention. Goodbye.